Hey, people would rather believe a beautiful lie rather than the honest truth. Tanisha, okay, the hater. Listen, I have nothing to prove to nobody. Right. You know me. You knew me before Emani was even born.
I already know. But these motherfuckers is clout chasing. These motherfuckers, they don't know your story.
They talking about Emani's with her real family. Wait, sis, they said Emani's with her real family. So I birthed the child and she's not my baby?
Right. Fuck them, Chyna. You don't need no validation from them, man. You know we go way back. Nigga, you already know what's up. So
nigga, we done fought, we done did everything together.
You feel me?
So this video was a video of Tanisha Foster. She is the first baby's mother to Nipsey Hussle, the late Nipsey Hussle. And as of Tuesday, a judge, according to TMZ, a judge signed off on Nipsey's immediate family members to become legal guardians to Nipsey's daughter Emani. Now, I've done several videos regarding this case because it's pretty much been happening since Nipsey Hussle was murdered, where Sam Smith, that is his sister, decided to seek guardianship over Emani, and this family has been they've been battling it out for months now, and so a judge finally issued, his ruling, and they are now the guardians to Emani, and so she was reacting to that news. Now, in my previous videos, I've talked a bit about how I didn't necessarily like how Nipsey's sister went about seeking guardianship. Now, this was immediately after Nipsey's death. Tanisha Foster, a lot of you might see her on Instagram as Chyna Hussle, but she wasn't informed of what was going on. And despite what people thought, she was not at his funeral. Nipsey Hussle's sister, Sam Smith, decided to seek guardianship without letting Tanisha know. And so obviously that would cause a big rift. A lot of people felt like, well, if Emani was already staying with Nipsey, it only makes sense that she would automatically just stay with his family. And then there were people that felt like, well, that's her mother. She should go back to her mother. And either way, you know what? It truly isn't our business as to how this happens, but it is playing out publicly, which is why a lot of us people are talking about it. I see a lot of people say, well, that's not our business. Stay out of it. No, if it's public, we're going to talk about it just like we talk about everybody else. Nipsey, God rest his soul, he's not immune, or his family isn't immune to having people discuss what's going on with them either. Okay? So, now that's out of the way. Tanisha, in my opinion, I feel like she's getting like a bad rap. And I feel like people are being unfair to her. Now, I didn't always think like that. I was one of those people that hopped on well, you know what? Lauren London should, raise her, or his sister should raise her. But then I had to think to myself, look, this young lady has already lost a parent in a very tragic way. And for her mother to be cut out of her life, I hope she's not cut out completely, but for her mother to be cut out of her life, I didn't like that either. I just don't feel right about that. I don't. A few months ago, at one of her court hearings, she said that since Nipsey had died, who was actually helping to provide for her and take care of her, she hasn't been able to, maintain her lifestyle. She hasn't been able to pay her rent. She's had to move, stuff like that. And she also said that Nipsey's family hasn't been fair when it comes to understanding that he was actually taking care of her. Now, that's when I was just like, okay, Tanisha, look, I understand that he was taking care of you, but you also have 2 other children. She has 3 children in total, Emani being the youngest. I guess she got comfortable with the fact that she had a child with Nipsey Hussle and that he would always be around to help and to provide and to take care of her. A lot of people felt like, well, she's only trying to get Emani because Emani, believe it or not, she comes with, she inherits part of his estate. So Emani immediately pretty much comes away with $1 million. It's split between her and Cross. Lauren London also had to go to court on Tuesday, and she got a judge's approval to manage her son's finances. She basically got guardianship over her son's estate. Not over her son, but her son's estate, which means she can handle his money. And a lot of people felt like, well, Tanisha is only trying to get guardianship or maintain guardianship of her daughter because her daughter comes with $1 million. Now, I don't know, but I do think that she genuinely loves her daughter. And for the record, for all the people that's kind of giving her a hard time, Nipsey Hussle and Tanisha was together for a really long time. A really long time. He loved this woman. And yeah, she was messy at some point. Her and Lauren used to kind of go back and forth early on in their relationship. Lauren and Nipsey's relationship. They used to go back and forth. But my gut tells me, I'm just saying, my gut tells me that Nipsey never really let Chyna go. You know, there was a point that Lauren London and Nipsey Hussle broke up. And a lot of people had speculated it's because he was still messing with Chyna. Now, I don't know. Chyna kind of alluded to that before as well. And I can't say that she's lying because, listen, we know how these dudes do. They double back to their baby mama. Don't sit there and act like that don't happen. And don't sit, and I also tell people, don't sit back and act like she wasn't feeling some type of way because he probably was still messing with her. They were together for a long time and she missed him. I could see her. I've been seeing her on her little lives and she's like singing his songs and she just, I think she's grieving too. And people act like she doesn't have a right to grieve for him. She has a right to grieve for him too. Nipsey was not married. I know a lot of people say that Lauren London was his wife, but they were not legally married. Tanisha has a right to grieve too. And I don't understand why people are acting like something's wrong with that. She spent a good portion of her life with him. She was with him before he became the Nipsey Hussle that we knew, that most people just kind of coming in tune to and understanding who he was. But she was with him long before that. So I don't think it's fair to just kind of judge this woman in that way. Now, obviously the courts felt like, and this is she posted this picture like 2 different times. She posted that she missed him. She's grieving. She's grieving, and I took it as such. Like, this is a woman who is clearly grieving. What was I saying? Shit, I can't even remember. I lost my train of thought. Oh, so the judge felt like the family of Nipsey proved that Tanisha was unfit. And because those court documents are not necessarily public as far as all the other little stuff, the little intricacies of what they proved about her, the judge saw fit to, give them guardianship. Like I said, I feel sorry for her. I do. I feel sorry for her. I hope that she can still maintain some kind of relationship with her daughter. Over the last several weeks, she's been having her daughter. So she's been spending time with her daughter. And I hope that doesn't change. That just because they have guardianship over Emani doesn't necessarily mean they're going to completely cut this woman out of Emani's life. She needs her mother. All right. But when I see Tanisha on her lives, when I see her speaking about Nipsey, she just seems like a woman who is hurt, who was not able to mourn the way other people have been able to mourn, because when she was mourning and showing her grief, and every time she shows her grief that she indeed loved this man, people come at her crazy as if they know Lauren more than they know her. We don't know either one of these women personally. And like I've stated before, who is to say that Nipsey was not doubling back to her? Who's to say? And for the record, and I know this might be offensive or may rub some people the wrong way, when it comes to who is the better guardian for Emani. Now, Tanisha has shown some very questionable behaviors on her Instagram. Now, she's cleaned it up because she was trying to gain guardianship of her daughter. Okay, that was strategic. And she used to have some very questionable stuff on her Instagram. She had some like she was, she took lean, she did lean. She used to post pictures of all that kind of stuff. Just very questionable. And I'm sure that did not help her. That did not help her in her case. But if we gonna really sit here and be real, all the way real, I mean, when I look at Samantha Smith, that is Nipsey Hussle's baby sister, and I look at Black Sam, they got some questionable stuff in their past. They got some questionable stuff that they've done. And so it's just interesting to me that, okay, if Tanisha was into drug use, which it seems like she was, I saw Samantha Smith smoking weed on her lives. Black Sam, I love Black Sam, but Black Sam been in and out of jail. So it's just kind of curious to me as to what did the judge see in Tanisha's past or whatever she did to make them say, well, you know what, they're a better fit than her own mother. I'm just curious because when I look at it, it's like, well, Samantha Smith, she's always repping kind of gang culture too. I've seen Tanisha do some of that stuff too, but she does it. Samantha Smith does it too. All in all, if being with Nipsey's family provides Emani more stability, which is probably what it came down to, I understand it. Like I said, I just don't get, I hope that the judge make sure, or it was kind of in there, baked into the details, that Tanisha will still be able to maintain a meaningful relationship with her daughter. All right. I do. I feel bad for her. I really feel bad for her. Like I said, I wasn't always on board with her. I was not. I kind of was looking at her like the public was looking at her. But then I thought to myself, well, hell, who are we to really judge? If we're looking at her Instagram and saying, well, she must be a bad mom. Hell, we can look at a lot of people's Instagrams and think and make judgments based on what they post as well. Make judgments on basically what they post as well. So, I don't think that's fair. I don't think. And for people acting like, oh, well, she's this and she's that. Well, the old saying goes, water seeks its own level. So at some point, Nipsey and Tanisha were equally yoked. They were both part of that gang culture. They both lived that lifestyle. She just probably was more stuck. She became stuck in that. And he wanted to elevate. And so he moved on. But don't sit here and act like Lauren ain't cut from the same cloth. Because if you've ever watched Lauren, she might be just like this kind of prim proper. A lot of people just like, oh, her aesthetic. She's just so cute. She's just so... But Lauren is kind of like hood too. She just kind of wrap it up in a pretty bow. But don't get it twisted. Lauren is hood too. She's just a part of that Hollywood life. And like I said, I felt like Tanisha just became stuck. Like she just couldn't move forward. She never really moved forward. Because I always thought to myself, if Nipsey Hussle is my baby's father, and I know he's helping me out, I know he has these connections, he's helping elevate the people around him, which I know he did. There's proof of that he did elevate and help the people around him come up. That I don't know why she never took advantage of that. She could have sold weave online. She could have just had a clothes boutique. She could have did any of that. So I am curious as to why she never really elevated that way. And I'm just guessing it's because of her. She's stuck. And I can't blame somebody from deciding that they want more and moving on. But I still believe that he was still doubling back to her, which made her feel the way she did oftentimes, where she started to express herself. And I was kind of figuring out for the life of me, why don't she like Lauren? Like her and Lauren would go back and forth. Even recently, I saw her on a live, like she was on some kind of bus going somewhere. And she's like, oh, don't bring that shit over here. Take that over to Lauren's page. Like even to this day, she got beef with Lauren. Lauren pays her dust and ignores it. But I'm telling you, it's something. It is something. And she probably feels resentful. She probably does feel resentful. She spent a lot of years with this man. She was taken in by his family. Okay. She was a part of that family. I've seen pictures with Nipsey's dad and her. I mean, they were a part of that. And now you see that now it's kind of like she's on the outside of that ever since he's passed away. And people are kind of ignoring the fact that she had love for him too. And people are acting like she cannot express that. She can't openly say, I miss you. I care about you. I love you. Because at one point or another, he did love her too. He did. And they created a beautiful child. And now she's on the outside of that. So, yeah, that's what's going on. She does not have guardianship of her daughter. And Nipsey Hussle's family has guardianship. 3 of them. His mother, his baby sister, and his brother Black Sam. They are going to take care of Emani. I'm glad that Emani will still be able to be raised with her brothers. Have Cross, and I also consider Lauryn Hill's son a part of that family too. That they'll be able to be raised together. I'm glad for that. I am. But like I said, I don't like to see any mother not be able to be with their kids. Now I'm sure she's made some mistakes. She has made mistakes. She's made mistakes with her oldest two. Her son, I believe I've read, was kind of in and out of mess, and her older daughter also. So she's made mistakes along the way. She has. And so that's why I say I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the judge probably said, you know what, this is a more stable environment for Emani. We're going to just keep her with this family over here. But like I said, I just hate when people act like they're so perfect. Like you don't have issues going on. And like this woman don't have a right to want her daughter. And this woman don't have a right to grieve for a man that she spent a lot of time with and saw his rise, saw his come up. I don't know. I just kind of think that's unfair. And, you know, I pray for her. I pray for that whole family. I hope that they can kind of come to some kind of resolution where they can at least be civil to one another, and that she can maintain a decent relationship with her daughter, because her daughter still needs her. Her daughter loves her. I see those pictures of them together. She loves her mother. And I just hope that that doesn't change, that they don't alienate Emani, you know, against her mother. I just want it to work out for